I think the most important thing is that we all have a personal brand. So you already have a brand whether or not you know it or not. So it's
Mm,
better to know it, take control of it so that it is the brand that you want to represent you. So imagine having your brand out there and people just, people think whatever they think, but what if you can actually cultivate and position the way you want it? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be famous for? Right? What is your headline? And when you figured out the headline, that's what you put in the about section. Put it in your LinkedIn banner, right? You know, I'm a go-to-market advisor. I'm a public speaker, figure out what that is. I think personal branding is 100% important to your current job and your future job, as well as things that are outside.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Customer Success Talks, Real Challenges, Experts Advice, the podcast dedicated to helping those transitioning into customer success and early career customer success managers. I'm your host, Byron Toruño, and just like you, I'm still learning about this amazing world of customer success. And what a best way than just create a podcast where I sit down with a lot of amazing people and hear their stories. Thank you so much to our guest today who took the time and will share about personal branding, but a personal branding that actually works. So I'm really curious to hear our guest today's story and also how to build one that is authentic, that is healthy, that is sustainable, that has actually a meaning. And there's so many ways, right? This is the second episode we are recording about personal branding because independently if you are a customer success manager or not, I think that there can be several benefits of working towards personal branding. And for me, it's just a way to satisfy my curiosity. And so far, it has been almost 3 years. And today's guest is Sandi Yu. Sandi has 20 years working across big companies like Oracle and Cisco until one day she said, I'm not going to work for anymore for anyone. I'm going to build my stuff. And that's where revenue retention advisors came, where you help companies on the go-to-market strategy. And from there, you have been traveling a lot around the world, giving a lot of keynotes, helping a lot of companies. You also are a twin mom, play tennis, pickleball. You do too many things. How do you manage in 24 hours, Sandy? Welcome to Customer Success Talks. Sandy, sorry.
Thank That's okay. Thank you so much for having me. It's always funny when you hear kind of someone intro you and you're like, oh yeah, that is seems like a lot of stuff. But I think I prioritize what is what's most important to me. So my career is very important to me, but so is my family. Also, uh, for me, health is physical health and mental health, and so you can do everything, just not all at once. So if I'm traveling, my family has to take a back seat, but I try to work out when I'm traveling. That doesn't always happen because then I'm with my family. So it's just, uh, I think somebody told me once it's not work-life balance, it's work-life integration. And when you integrate things, different things will take priority in different times. But I'm really, really enjoying it. And thank you for having me on the podcast. It's been a long
Absolutely.
time coming, right? We've been trying to do this for a little while.
This has been cooking for a couple of months now, years as well. And
Yep.
we just decided to dress pink.
I know. We got literally unplanned, no memo were given, but we're both decided to be pink today.
Sandy, you know, we were just talking before recording, and it has been almost in next month is going to be 2 years since the first time we interacted. And when I reach out to you to invite you to an episode, I noticed how simple it is to make that reach and get to you and start the conversation. Actually, we jump on a call, and it was the day when one of your daughters, she was doing the driver license test, and I think that that applies a lot to your mantra, which is be kind, be curious, be human. So sometimes is your personal branding towards that, or is that something that just comes naturally?
I think you have a personal brand regardless if you try to cultivate one. Like
Okay.
everyone has a brand. Byron, you have a brand, I have a brand. Your brand is what other people think of you, right? So whether they think you're a customer success leader or a customer success manager or a mom or a tennis player, I think we're all of that. And so what we're here to talk about really is to cultivate a what's the professional um, brand that you want to have, and particularly what is a brand that you want to have on LinkedIn. Because Byron found me on LinkedIn because we live in two parts of the world, right?
Yeah, true.
And so I think it's something that people really struggle. It can feel really nebulous. And as Byron says, I spent, the first 20, more like 25, but we won't count
Mm.
years of my career as a corporate person. And
Mhm.
so when you're a corporate person, it's easy to identify yourself as your role or your company. And it's for everyone that's working in corporate, I really want to let you know that it's so important to have your personal brand because, after working in very large companies that are well recognizable, um, I had to change my personal brand after I left corporate, right? And so the sooner that you can do that, the sooner you can cultivate a personal brand that's outside of your job title and the company you're associated with. I think that will actually give you more opportunities in your career in the future.
So you mean like doesn't necessarily personal branding has to be related to what you do professionally?
I think it does, but it doesn't have to relate to the company, the
Ah, I
specific
see. Okay.
company, and the
Mhm.
specific role. Just because you're a entry level CS person now, that's not who you are. That's what you
Mhm.
do, right? So I think when you think of a personal brand, who are you? So if people look at, I think people look at you as a combination of kind of your experience, but also who you are. And how do you tell people who you are? How do
How
your
do you
friends
tell the
know who?
story? It's a
How do
story.
you tell the story? And I think a lot of people struggle with this, but I have a three-step framework
Let's go
that
for it.
when you think about, I'll just get this out early as so we start talking.
Let's break it
So
down, yeah.
in order to figure out just my three steps are first, you figure out who you are. And I think and the first part is identity, right? So it's actually kind of difficult, right? So if you sit down and try to write down, who am I? Because you're so many things. So I'm a, working professional. You're a daughter, you're a son, you're a father, you're a brother, you're an uncle. So there's all these personal identifications. I think people, when you think about professionally, they think I'm just one thing. If I'm just starting my career, I think, "Ooh, I am just a customer success," or I'm a customer success manager." Really, you do way, way more than that, right? You're a
Mhm.
collaborator at your work, you're a colleague to someone else, you are a trusted advisor, if you're okay with that term. Sometimes people are like, trusted advisor. But you are someone that another person from another company trusts to help make the right decision, trusts to help solve their problems, right? And so you want to look inward and say, who am I? And I think having that clarity helps helps determine who you are now, but also who you want to be, right? So if you're a customer success manager, what is your aspiration? What do when you go to the interview questions, right? What do you want to do 5 years from now? And and so that's part of your identity. Like, who am I? And then what is the value I want to deliver to the next company, to my customer, to the world? So
The
I know
why.
it's a lot. And
Yeah.
that's why it takes time. I think people don't have clarity on the first thing, which is identity. People don't have clarity. They really haven't invested time. And I wouldn't say do it once and forget it, right? For anything important, you will have several iterations. And
Yeah.
my identity has changed multiple times.
Yeah.
I started my career, I was in finance. I was in alliances finance. And then I went to Price Waterhouse, then I was a consultant, right? And then I went to Cisco, then I became, this is work-wise, right? I was a strategist, right? Enabled about 3,000 partners around the world on how to spell SaaS because they were all hardware vendors. And then my job title became product manager at Oracle, um, for both SaaS applications and also Oracle Cloud. So throughout my career, my title has really changed. So my brand as a person also needs to change and evolve. So I think first and foremost, figure out what is it, who you are, and also what you want to do, because you're not tied to your current title, if that makes any
I
sense.
love that. I love that because sometimes when we think about personal branding, it has to be professionally. And of course, we are in a customer success oriented podcast. So we will touch on the professional side. But I know people who are professionals and they're good at what they do, but they are talking on the stages or they're just motivating people in so many other ways. Today, I spoke to a friend who is a customer success manager, really senior one with a lot of experience, loved the company, and is working now on his own personal branding, his own company to coach people on how to avoid burnout, how to be inspirational, how to find their why, their who they are. And it doesn't have to be necessarily customer success. They found that. And I think that it's about the authenticity that you can set. But the identity that you're talking about here, Sandy, I think that it's about just trying and figure it out until you finally find it.
Well, it's here I have a trick, okay? So
Yeah.
if you not my trick. So my recommendation, if you don't quite know, especially if you're newer in career, you're like, I don't know. I
Because
just
there's so many
graduated 2 years
paths.
ago. I'm
There's so
just
many
happy to
paths.
have a job, right? I would say you do have a personal brand. So ask 5 people, different people, maybe, when your family, your manager, maybe ask someone. It's if you are in a corporate setting, ask something called a skip level. Ask someone that's 2 levels above you and then maybe someone outside of your team and say, hey, Byron, I am in customer success. You're in marketing. What 2 words come up when you think about me?
Mm,
And so Byron will tell me, oh, well, friendly and cheerful. I get those a lot.
yeah.
Friendly and cheerful. And I would say, hey, what about when we work on that project together? Oh, very analytical,
Mhm.
right? So that's one way that you can start to gather information about what other people think about you professionally. So again, ask one or 2 levels above you. Of course, ask your direct manager. Say,
Mhm.
hey, I listened to this Byron's podcast on customer success, and I'm trying to figure out my personal brand. Can you tell me what are the 2 words that come up for you when you think about me? And so that's how you can gather that. Do some data gathering.
Yeah, but what happens if they don't match? Like, maybe that's what I'm reflecting, but I feel that I don't reflect that. Like, it could be
Ah,
challenging
that
on
is
that piece.
perfect. That is perfect. Because once you have the information, then you can decide, is that the image? Is that the word that you want people to think about you?
So you have time to adjust.
You have time to adjust. So if someone says to me, "Oh, Sandy is very serious. Sandy, when I think about you, you mean business. You come into
Mm,
the meeting and you're like you have your agenda set, you just go for it. You're very serious." And I was like, that's not really how I want to want to be known. I want to be known as someone that have a lot of empathy and compassion and that cares about people. That's important to me. And so that's another key point is, as you're figuring out your identity, you really have to think about what is important to you and what do you want to be seen as? You don't have to settle for how you're being seen right now, right? Other people's experience and perspective of you is up to you. So let's say if Byron, you're the one that told me that I was very serious. Maybe next time I get into a meeting, instead of going right to, okay, the agenda today is that we have to get to these three things and we have to have this outcome. Are you okay with that? Be like, hey, how was your weekend? Right?
Sandy, look, I tend to challenge stuff because I want to extract as much of
Challenge
info as I can from you. And I know we have two more points to cover. I think this is the figure out who you are is also one
is
of
the
the most,
hardest part.
yeah, it's the hardest one. It's like you can get into so many rabbit holes. But what
Yes.
happens if, because if I tell you, I feel that you're like what, but the perception I have is that you're so serious and then you change, but then where is the authenticity part of the stuff?
Do
Because then
you
you are,
really care about? Okay. So it's for me is about I'm this whole person, right? So
yeah,
I've been showing you my serious side because I feel like I am new to the career. I want to be taken seriously. So I'm going to be all business. But there's another side of you that cares about people, that want to know. Like I literally really want to know what you did over the weekend, right? And I just want to share with you this side of me as well. So we are multifaceted, and it's important for you to decide how you want to come across. Maybe my problem is I come across like too friendly. Nobody takes me
yeah.
seriously, right? And so I need to be in addition to, hey, how was your weekend? Great, that's wonderful. So this is the agenda that I've prepared today. Are there things that you want? So what I'm saying is that when you interact with people, that's how people experience you and that's the brand that you develop. So the first thing is to know what is that brand that you're building right now and
Hmm,
determine whether or not that's the brand that you want.
okay.
And if that's not what you want, then you have to think about what is the other side of me that you also want to show? How do you want to show up?
And where you want it? Where do you want to go? So because that's like
Yeah.
the bar. Where
So
do you want to go? Like, what's point number two? Is it that one by any chance?
then point number two is who you're talking to.
Who you're talking to?
You could be the same person, right? So you mentioned this word authenticity. That's
Yeah.
really, really important. So once you know who you are, you know all the different pieces of you. I am going to spend like you have you have to adjust the way you communicate to the person you're talking to. You have to know who you're talking to, both in person and also on LinkedIn, right? So we'll go with the in person first. So if I'm talking to an executive who actually, everyone assumes that executives don't want to chit chat. That's not true. Executives are people too, right? They, they, you have to show
They
up
can
as
be
who you
scary.
are. They can be scary, but just remember, they put on pants one leg at a time, just like us.
That's true.
Just remember, they're people too. Uh, and they're only so if you think about it, if you're talking to a VP or SVP of a company, what would happen if you met them on the street and you weren't in the same company? They would just be another person,
Yeah. Yeah. The
right?
conversation will be different.
It's positional. I mean, they feel scary because they have that position. But they're just a human. And I can say this because I've been working for 25 years and, I don't worry as much, but even for newer in career, when you're talking, when you are the CSM talking to the chief revenue officer of your company, right? I think it's important to be respectful of people's time. Um, but also be authentic, right? People are afraid of what if my authentic persona isn't the right thing. I think you learn and adjust, right? You show up as who you are and you adjust. So if I'm talking to someone, if I'm talking to a chief revenue officer for the first time, I may do a little prep. I may ask my manager, you say, is she the type of person that likes to chit chat a little bit before? Does she want me to send her a presentation in advance? Does she want me? When you're meeting with executive, always send an agenda in advance, always. And if you're meeting in person, bring the agenda with you. But that's about executive management. Um, so what I'm saying about showing up authentically is show up who you are, but prepare for the audience. So first is know who you are. Second is know who you're talking to.
And that can be applied internally and also externally.
Absolutely, absolutely. With customers, with partners, but also on LinkedIn. So let's talk a little about LinkedIn because a lot of our personal brands, especially one that build a brand outside of your work, is going to be through LinkedIn. And
It's
so
the biggest channel right now.
it is one of the biggest channels. And so first and foremost, you want to know who do you want to attract, right? So you don't want to be all things to all people. So you have to think about, well, if I'm a customer success manager right now, I would really like to be maybe a director of customer success. So the people that I'm trying to attract are hiring managers and maybe VPs of customer success of my current or other companies, right? And then so what kind of people would they want to know? What kind of people would they want to hire? Right? And what are some of the things I can show them? So it's not like I'm pretending I have those things. I am those things, is understanding what is it that they're looking for and then making sure that either acquire the experience that they're looking for or demonstrate to them that I have that experience. What that means on LinkedIn is perhaps posting, and even more important than posting. A lot of people are hesitant. I don't know what to say.
It's so scary. It's also intimidating.
It's intimidating. How do I know what to say? I have a solution for you.
You have the formula. Okay.
Instead of thinking about what to post, find the 5 people you really want to notice you. So again, this is with people. Find the 5 people you really want to notice you. So for example, maybe you work at company A and you're really interested in these 5 companies, right? And then these 5 companies, they'll have VPs of customer success, but maybe even a director of customer success. And then what you do is you kind of follow them on LinkedIn. You follow them and make notification, and you start to comment on them. This is kind of more like job search, but it's also
Hey.
with your personal brand. So you want to demonstrate to these 5 people that you are someone that they should take notice. And so instead of you posting something, maybe they will see it, maybe they won't. But you know what? Only like a fraction, like 4%, I don't know, it was very small percentage of people on LinkedIn that actually post. So if these 5 people actually post, the thing to do is actually comment on their post. But I don't mean just a thumbs up or a good message. Let's say I post something about the importance of the difference between using AI for productivity and using AI for realizing value. Productivity is a value. Let's say post something about that. If you try to get my attention, then you would comment on my post to
Right.
say, "Hey, Sandy, I don't, that's really interesting perspective. What do you mean by AI, articulating the value of AI?" I'm like, who's this Byron person? And the first thing I do when people comment on me is I looked at your profile.
So that is like comment where you don't have to know something. It's that you're curious about something
You're
as well.
curious. You're curious.
Hmm.
And then over time, So so what I'm saying is when you're trying to identify, when you're trying to create a branding on LinkedIn, you can start, first of all, decide who you want to attract. And then you can start by just commenting on them, and then maybe eventually write something that is important to you that may or may not be about what your company is doing, right? Maybe you start, maybe when marketing says, hey, can you start talking about this capability that we have or this event we have? And you can start building your branding based on that, or start talking about things that are relevant to you. So, but to your audience is what I'm saying. So, your audience again is the VPs of customer success. What do they care about? They care about probably how to move to value-based pricing. They probably care about how to um, organize, how to help someone, how to help their team to be more effective. And then you, as a customer success manager, right, say, "Hey, this is what my manager did for me. That was so wonderful."
This is
And
what I
then they
learned.
learn from you.
Mhm.
Right? Because we're all learning from each other. I mean, LinkedIn is the big learning platform. And so they may see because, and then you tag your manager to say, hey, I'm so grateful for my manager who gave me, or this company that gave us learning credits or learning funds. Now I took this little class. I took this class on AI. Now I feel way more comfortable in helping my customers doing A, B, or C. So there's a whole other area about what to post, but I think the first step is understand who you are, and
Yeah,
again, you can do a little research about who you are, and then determine if that's what you want. If not, you can fix that. And second is think about who you're talking to, right? And what does they care about? So if how can you show them the side of you? I'm showing the shoulder. So, how can you show them this
yeah.
whole you so that they are more likely to be interested in you?
I love that because if you choose these 5 people, you indirectly, without noticing it, you will start learning from them and you will start being influenced by them as well. It's like I'm really into public speaking. Like, I don't know, I think I'm just too curious, and that can be good or bad. Like, it depends, right? Because it could be too broad, but I also want to be known of because of something specifically. But I'm also really into public speaking, really into podcasting, customer success, human behavior, and I follow I follow a lot of public speaking professionals, and I notice how as more as listen, I also start applying that unconsciously. So I think that that's a really good strategy. That low effort, low energy, but a big income. I mean, a big impact.
Yes, 100%. So, I think, and you can pick different people that you follow. Let's say you
Yeah.
follow these 5 people, and then it turns out that either they don't post that much or all they ever post are about company events. It's kind of boring, right? You can change. Just like your own personal brand, you can change. So find the right people to follow. And then there's nothing more I love to hear. Let's say someone listens to this podcast and then they use my strategy of doing that little research,
Yeah.
like to say, to tag me and say, hey, Sandy, I listened to listen to you on the customer success podcast and I follow that. I mean, everyone that puts things out on LinkedIn love it when people tell them that they listened to what they did and
Yeah.
did something with it.
Of
Really,
course.
right? Like Byron, when people say, "Hey, thank you for having, XYZ on the podcast and help me understand that I don't just have to be one thing. I can be a customer success leader and a, a coach, right? A personal coach,
Yeah.
right? Personal development coach. I can be a go-to-market strategist and a, you know, AI specialist. Like
Also a
we are
stand-up
all,
comedian.
yeah, that is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Like if you could be and then wouldn't people love to have like record yourself doing stand-up comedy, like 30
Mhm.
second bits on LinkedIn?
Mhm.
Like That would be so much better
It's
than
so
just more
different.
AI. That's it. You don't worry about being different because by
Mm.
being you, that is different. No one we're not there's no one saying, "I have twins." They couldn't be more different, right? So, I'm
Who will
here to
say that?
tell you, don't worry about being different. Just being you is being different. So that's the second thing. Want to make sure that you follow the right people, you start following content and commenting on people's posts. That is a surefire way for people to notice you.
I'm curious to know if I figure out who I am, or at least I'm close to, because I want to be someone, or I'm being perceived as someone. But maybe in a couple of years, I need to transition, or I want to transition. But once that's clear, once I know who I'm talking to, which is the third point?
The third point is, what content do you start putting out?
Uh huh.
Right. And this is again personal branding on LinkedIn, right? But even if it's in person, you think about what is the output of your work at work. And so right now, when people see the content on my LinkedIn, they know that I deliver go to market workshops because I post about the fact that I'm going to somewhere to do the workshop. And I post about the workshop that happens, all the outcomes from those workshops and the people that attend.
You
And
also
then I post
exercise.
about, yes. And then I post about things that are outside of my work as well. I post about learning from people when I'm working out. I post about doing my first run in 7 months, because I haven't been doing that. And I post about there was one I was trying to do a box jump. So there's a big box in a gym and you try to jump up. I couldn't do it.
You couldn't, or you could.
Could not. It was too high. Even though it was only like 2 inches.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think it's important to show the whole you, right? Now I don't usually post about my kids. That's my personal preference.
Yeah.
But if people post about their kids, that's totally fine because that's who they are. And I totally understand that um, it gets more comfortable when you do it. So I would just say do it a little at a time, right? So I,
Yeah.
I think what you want to do is post post things that are true to you and that are relevant to other people.
I will, Sandy, I love that. I will just add, what content do I post, and also like how, like which
Okay,
channel to use.
so I normally use LinkedIn. I don't use Facebook or Instagram, because most of the people that I want to attract for my business
Number two.
is on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Right? So again, you gotta say, I know who I am. So I'm a go-to-market advisor. I'm a post-sales strategist. So I help chief revenue officers keep their customers and get them to buy more. Now,
Mhm.
chief customer officers are in meetings, right? They go to executive dinners, they go to events where they're learning, and they're on LinkedIn. So that's where I show up. I show up at these executive dinners, at conferences, and also on LinkedIn. And that's why the second piece is so important. Who are the people you're trying to attract and where they're going to be? And then third, I put in contents that are relevant to them. So I post in about 4 different primary areas is leadership, expertise, proof, and then human. Those are the 4 categories that you can think about posting.
Can you repeat them?
And yeah, leadership,
Leadership.
like show that what you believe and what you stand for. The second is expertise, the problems that you've solved as a customer success manager or a customer success leader. So that's your expertise. And sometimes you may feel like, oh, I haven't solved anything. That's totally not true. Just look at your calendar yesterday. I am
Mm,
certain you solved a problem for your customer.
mhm, mhm.
Absolutely. If
I
you're CSM, you have absolutely solved at least one problem for your customer yesterday, for sure. So you can post about that. You're like, everybody knows that. That's not true.
hmm hmm And if it's true, it's your story, it's your version, it's your mistakes, it's your opinion. Like
Yeah.
I can record the same topic about personal branding with 10 people that they will all have the different experience. They will give different outcomes or different stories. And Sandy, because we're getting close to time, I want to ask you, or I want to hear your opinion about a comment I heard recently out there about why personal branding for this person is important. And I would love to hear your perspective on this. For this person, the truth is that CS is going to lose, or like CS, we're going to lose our jobs at some point. Like at least there will be less people working in CS, or at least less available options out there for job in CS. I guess because of
Mhm.
AI, automation, big
Yeah.
scale portfolios. So that's why this person thinks that personal branding is so important on LinkedIn, because then it makes you stand out from the others. And
Right.
maybe it's even good for when you're looking for a job. I don't know. I will have a soon a conversation with Luke Barton from ABR, who helps CS find jobs, and I want to ask him about the personal branding strategy and how that can help
Yeah.
find a job. That was
Yeah.
my first intention of the podcast, but I want to hear about this. Do you think that also personal branding, it's a tool that one can use to stand out internally within the company, but also within the customers, and also to find a job, like to stand
Yeah,
out?
I think it's all 3. I think the most important thing is that we all have a personal brand. So you already have a brand whether or not you know it or not. So it's
Mm,
better to know it, take control of it so that it is the brand that you want to represent you. So imagine having your brand out there and people just, people think whatever they think, but what if you can actually cultivate and position the way you want it? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be famous for? Right? What is your headline? And when you figured out the headline, that's what you put in the about section. Put it in your LinkedIn banner, right? W- You know, I'm a go-to-market advisor. I'm a public speaker, figure out what that is. I think personal branding is 100% important to your current job and your future job, as well as things that are outside. Because you never know. I mean, like you reached out to me. I don't, were you in Germany at the time? But
yeah, I was just, yeah, 1 year over here in
yeah,
Germany.
so you never know. I've met so many friends on LinkedIn just by being myself. So I would really recommend that. Thinking about so the third component, the first is figure out who you are. Second is who you are talking to. The third piece is what do you write about? So there's the
Mhm.
4 post types that you can do and think about how that really is relevant and is authentic to you. And those are my like 3 steps to personal branding in person but also on LinkedIn.
And there's not best way of ending today's episode, Sandy, with those 3 steps on how to build an authentic brand that actually works. My personal advice for anyone, because I wish I had someone telling me this almost 3 years ago when I started the podcast, is that just do it and don't be scared and do it slow. Be patient with yourself. And if you make a mistake, it's a learning experience. And then just be open to adopt. It sounds easy. I know, but it's completely possible. And people like me and myself, like myself and Sandy, we are also here to help. Would you agree,
Yes,
Sandy?
absolutely. Yes. So absolutely reach out to help, but also join communities. I would
Yeah,
say join communities to hold you accountable, to
yeah.
inspire you. And if it's important to you, you have to put in the work. I think anything worth having, you have to put in the effort. So don't think that if you post once a month, that's going to help you. I don't mean you have to post every day, but
hmm
think about what is that strategy. Honestly, you can just Google, you know, ho- uh, strategy. I just give you 3 steps as a framework, but you should have a plan. But first and foremost, please, please, please find out and decide. Make a decision about the the branding you want to have, so that people can see all sides of you.
It's a marathon. A marathon. It's a marathon. It's not something that you're not going to do one day to another. It takes time. It takes some. energy
It's
and
worth it.
effort.
Like when
If
yeah.
you're scared, it's because you want it.
Well, it's not really there's no finish line per se with
Mm.
this. You just get to the stage where you want to be now until you want your brand to be a little bit different next. I think what I want people to know is that you are in control. You are in control of your personal brand. Uh, take these, framework and cultivate the brand that you want to have and get to know, get the people that you want notice you to notice you. This will give you a heads up in your current leg up in your current role, in your future role, and things outside of your work endeavors, like this podcast.
Sandy, thank you so much. In Costa Rica,
You're
we say
welcome.
pura vida. I will send you how that's written so you can do a research. And when I hear you talking and when I talk to you, that's the feeling that I have, a pura vida feeling. So thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome. I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.
And like I always say, everyone, remember, keep learning, keep growing, and let's keep improving the world of customer success. Until next time.
Bye bye.